Hello everyone, this is Prashant, and in this video we are going to talk about the study skill of reading. What is reading, how do you do it, how do you apply it to your education. So we are going to talk about that. And obviously, before we talk about reading, we are going to talk about what type of softwares you require for reading and what is not reading, what is reading, and how do you do it. So I will go in that order. So before you start, you need a particular form of softwares. Number one is Zotero. We use it mostly for annotations of PDF. And the second one is Calibre for reading EPUB or MOBI or AZW. Obviously, I do most of my reading digitally. I hope you do so as well. Otherwise, this technique is also applicable to physical copies. So let's start. So what is not reading? Obviously, reading is not echolalia. That is, you just repeat what is written on the text. So that is not reading. Obviously, you have to understand what does it mean. Okay. Second is reading is not also not processing. Basically, you have to think. Not thinking doesn't come under reading. In fact, thinking is implicit in the act of reading. So not keeping info limited to what is given. Basically, if you look at a concrete or abstract statement, you connect both. It's not like you keep both of them separately. So, yeah. So, let's go through the examples of what is not reading. So, echolalia. So, teacher says, okay, psychology is the study of mind and behavior, and the student learns it and repeats it. Psychology is the study of mind and behavior. Even if that statement is correct, it doesn't mean the student understood what does that mean. For example, to cross check them or to stress test them, we can ask them, okay, what is mind or what is behavior? And if you don't get any response to that, that means they didn't understood the definition of psychology. Okay, then node processing comes as follows. Suppose there is abstract statements. Gravity makes objects fall, or a concrete observation like a river flows through that from that mountain. Okay. Now, if the student is unable to connect both of them, that means he hasn't read or understood things properly. A proper understanding of both these statements would be the integration in the form of river is flowing downhill from that mountain. Why? Because of gravity. So it connects all these concepts together. Okay. Now, when it comes to reading, we are going to come to its definition. Reading is understanding the meaning of the information that is given to you in a perceivable symbolic form. It could be braille, it could be written text, whatsoever. But it's a- it is encoded in symbols and it refers to certain part of reality that you have to understand. So the process goes as follows. You or the person observes reality. Okay, you think, you take some action, your experience, you describe it in the form of language that becomes your content, like books, videos, etc. And as a reader you consume it. Okay, and you came up to the same conclusions, but to cross verify it, you also have to look at reality over and over again. Okay, so basically we are studying reality. That's what we are doing uh through our content. Okay, that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to understand reality, and most of the information about reality is in text form, in the form of our language. So that's why we research. Okay, so after reading, what are the levels of reading? So level one is surface reading. Obviously from the name you can say it's not too much of understanding, it's almost surface level. Level two is depth. You go into the depth. And a special form of reading called synoptical reading, that is the combination of the two. So these are the levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay, you start from level 1 and then you move forward to level 3. Okay, so we start with the surface reading. What is surface reading? It basically means skimming. So you get a syllabus, you go through content, you go through headings, definitions, diagrams, or some random paragraph that uh, catches your eye, and then you read all of that. So in skimming, we are going, speed is the primary motive. We are trying to scan the content as fast as possible, and obviously our syllabus is our primary, what you call it, goal, uh, or list of goals. Basically, on the basis of our syllabus, we are gonna select books. We are gonna read content. Okay. Obviously, if you want to read, you can read a lot as well. But syllabus is primary. Syllabus is the least we have to do. Okay. So, yep. So what do we look for? Okay, what do we look for in a book? So we are trying to extract essential information from the trivia or from the extra information. Okay, so these are the things we look for when we are reading a book. We look for headings, definitions, examples, diagrams, studies, argument, application, or the context like history or philosophy, like stuff mentioned in the text. So these are the things we are looking for, and you have to keep in mind like when you read a thing, these are the things you have to look for. Okay, so that was the surface reading. Now we move forward to the depth reading. That is, the main feature of depth reading is annotation. Basically, it means writing down essential thoughts of yourself or the authors that are written in the text or in response to the text. So, author may have written something in the book. You essentialize it, you write it in summarized form, and you may have certain thoughts in response to the written content. You write that too. Okay, whatever connections you form. So annotations as following parts. Use summarization. That is the number one. Connections. Connection with your knowledge, your experience, other books, other thoughts you have. Okay. Organization. You try to make text more organized. Okay. More concise. And questions. That is the last part that after reading it, after understanding it, certain form of curiosity comes to you. Suppose there is a gap in knowledge and you are not able to make sense of the thing, you ask questions and try to find their answers in book or think up the solutions. Okay, so that is depth reading. So what are the rules of annotation? That is number one, primacy of understanding. You do not write without first understanding what is written in the text. You have to read it, you have to understand it, then only you annotate. Then primacy of annotation. After annotation only you can do highlighting. Highlighting is optional, but annotation is primary. Annotation is writing stuff in your own words basically. Okay, now what the process looks like. Okay, step 1, you slowly read one paragraph at a time. Okay, then step 2, you stop, you think, understand, write any questions you have, and then you write all those thoughts down. So you read, you think, and you write. Okay, 3 steps. Okay, what is the general rubric? Okay, what questions you have to ask? Question 1, what is the topic the author is talking about? Number 2, what does the author say about that topic? Okay, and where in the text is the author saying about it? So you have to, what is the theme? Okay, what is the subject, what is the theme, and location? Okay, these 3 things you have to find. And let's go over to demonstration. I will go read a book in front of you, and you will see how this process looks like in real time. Okay, so let's go to the Zotero software. And okay, this chapter is personality. So we know the author is talking about personality, and we are talking about psychodynamic. And there is a heading, psychic energy and mental events. So let's start with the first paragraph. Okay, I have already annotated it because I read it previously, so I'm just redoing the process in front of you with a fresh mind. Okay. Inspired by hydraulic systems of 19th century physics, which emphasize exchange and releases of physical energy, Freud considered personality to be an energy system. Okay, somewhat like steam engines of his day. Okay, Freud, according to Freud, instinctual drives generate psychic energy, which powers the mind and constantly presses for release. So build up energy in the form of sexual drives might be discharged directly or indirectly through sexual activities or fantasies or other activities. Oh, okay. So we got 3 main things is that personality is like an energy system. That's what Freud is saying. So I will use this annotation software or sign and I will make a note. Okay. So what is the Freud saying? Okay, Freud is saying, according to Freud, okay, Freud, personality is like energy system. The psychic energy, because that's the energy people have in their minds, according to Freud, the psychic energy requires release. Okay, psychic energy requires release. That release, okay, that release can be in the form of sexual. or non-sexual actions. Okay, so that's the annotation. That's how you summarize the whole paragraph. Okay, in your own words. Okay, let's go move forward to the next paragraph. Just for example. Okay. Mental events may be conscious, pre-conscious, or unconscious. Okay. So he's saying, okay. So the conscious mind consists of mental events in current awareness, pre-conscious memories that are unaware at the moment but can be recallable. Okay. So in the paragraph, he mentions that mental events happen at three levels of mind: conscious, pre-conscious, and unconscious. Unconscious is mentioned in the third paragraph, but okay. So, okay, mental events happen at three levels of mind. Okay, cool. Level one is conscious mind, and level two is pre-conscious. Okay. So, what is conscious mind? Present day awareness. Okay. Present awareness. Okay. And what is preconscious mind? Yeah. Memories or content recallable through effort. Okay. So that would be a good summary of the paragraph. So that's how you annotate. Okay. So now moving back to the PPT. Uh, let's go to the next topic. That is the third level of reading, synoptical reading. Okay, synoptical reading is a method of gaining essential information from multiple books by deep reading one book and partially reading others. So in this you have one, uh, in surface reading, you ask the question, does the book has information I want? That you find out through skimming. And in depth reading you see, okay, what type of information does the book actually have? For that you have to read the book in depth. So synoptical reading occurs in this manner. So you have one base book, you read it completely in depth. You read it 100%. This is the best book you find and you read it. In psychology, I use Passer and Smith. Okay. Then you move forward to the other books. For example, it would be Feldman, it would be Bernstein, etc. And you use them as reference books. So in reference book, what you do is after reading your base book completely, you read them partially to see if there are any new topics, a better example, a better diagram, or any doubt you might have that may be answered in that book. You read those sections particularly. You do not read all the books entirely. You read some book partially in synoptical reading and one book completely. So that way you get a good overview of what is happening all around. So it's a mixture. You have to survey it, you have to read in depth. Some topics may require to read certain paragraphs in depth in reference books. But base book you have to cover completely. So that is synoptical reading. So those are the three levels of reading. Now let me just give you an example of synoptical reading as well. Okay, so let's go to the Zotero software again and I will show you my process. Okay, so I have read this is Passer Smith. Okay, now let me move on to the next book. That is Feldman. Okay, so it was personality chapter. Again, I go come to personality, and in here there's psychodynamic. Okay, I have read this. There are three levels of mind, etc., etc. Now, okay, this diagram looks good, so I just screenshot it. This is the icon you use to screenshot. Okay, I can move forward downwards as well. Oh, so there is a diagram as well, a table summary of psychosexual developmental stages. This looks good as well. I will screenshot this as well for later use. Okay, so all of these content that I have captured is shown on the left side. Okay, as you can see. Now let me move on to the third book. Okay, now this book is themes and variations. Okay, it's not showing. Okay, never mind. But you got the idea. Basically, you have to repeat the same process over and over again for different books, and that's how you actually learn it. So, yep. So that was the demonstration. Now let me see if the software still works. Okay, it's still working. So, okay. So this is how you actually do synoptical reading. I hope it made sense to you. I hope you liked it. Uh, so yeah, thanks for watching.